Today on
Doomed!
bullshit, distractions, and I guess we can call it accidental truths. On this episode of Doomed with your host, me, Matt Binder, we'll be looking at an assortment of different topics today. A lot I wanted to get to, so I made this episode sort of a instead of an overarching like one theme. We're gonna hit a few different topics. We got a little Ben Shapiro for you. We got a little TikTok propaganda, anti-TikTok propaganda for you. And we got I guess this resolution that passed today, which basically calls me, and I guess the majority of people who listen to my show, if not literally everybody, anti-Semitic. Congratulations, everyone. The U.S. government says we're all a bunch of anti-Semites. That'd be news to my Jewish half. All right, folks, let's go to the also would be news to the white supremacists who constantly knock me for being a Jew. They'll be shocked to learn that I'm I'm an anti-Semite, apparently. But that's what the U.S. government, our wonderful Congress people, say. Congratulations to all of you, too, for being an anti-Semite. We'll get to all that and more, but I did want to start with this. I did want to start with this clip I came across over the weekend. And it's obviously, you know, we've been starting these episodes lately with, you know, all sorts of really serious news. And I decided this episode, I mean, because to me, this is like something that's funny, but the point here is super serious. Because it actually shows, basically, let me describe it like this. It's Ben Shapiro accidentally telling the truth. It's Ben Shapiro accidentally letting the whole right wing's game here. He lays the cards out. He shows you their hand here. Accidentally, he didn't mean to, but he did. And so let's get to this. Let's get to it. Let's jump right into this clip. So you might have heard there is this movie that the Daily Wire made. That's the right-wing media outlet that Ben Shapiro started. That guy Jeremy Boring behind all the anti-woke companies like Harry's Razors or whatever his version of it's called. Jeremy's Razors, I think it is, because there's all Harry's Razors is the actual company. His is like Jeremy's Razors, and then he's got like Jeremy's Chocolate or something. Ridiculous. And yeah, they employ Matt Walsh. They employ Jordan Peterson, Candace Owens, a number of big right-wing media names. And so they recently got into the film business because they're doing that thing where we're going to take something that's like a mainstream industry or a leftist controlled industry, which, yeah, a lot of socialist controlled industries out there in America right now, but that's what they think. And then anything that they think is against the conservative values and conservative figures, any sort of industry or company conglomerate they think is that they're trying to replace with conservative ones. So they're doing conservative films now, conservative movies. And their latest one is called Lady Ballers. And it's about a bunch of men who claim to be trans so they could join women's sports leagues and win, and just like destroy the cis women playing in the those leagues because they're men, and I'm going to use the phrase that we'll get to. You should remember this phrase: actual men pretending to be women. They're not actually trans women. As Brandon Sutton, my co-host on Majority Report Thursdays and host over at the Discourse podcast, as Brandon Sutton said, it seems like the Daily Wire never heard of the I think it's like early 2000s film, like a really early 2000s film, Juana Man, because this has been done. It's like really like played out, like out of touch with the current day and age, sort of like toilet humor sort of movie, like the whole premise. And so Ben Shapiro, obviously, he's got the big podcast. He's got the biggest podcast in the network, one of the biggest podcasts in the world. He's obviously going to promote the movie on his podcast because you have to pay for Daily Wire Premium or Plus or whatever they call it. You got to pay for their subscription tier to see this movie. And it's a full-length feature film. And it's shot, it's from the trailer and clips I've seen. It has Hollywood movie production value. I'm not saying creative or storyline because that doesn't seem to be the case. But cinematography wise, it looks like a professionally shot film. So they're trying to get people to go and sign up and watch it. I've not seen the film, but Ben Shapiro is pumping it up on his podcast. And someone on Twitter, a few people on Twitter, I should say, pointed out something really interesting. During Ben Shapiro's promotion of the Lady Ballers Daily Wire film, he let some interesting things, sort of like behind the scenes IMDb factoid type things about the movie slip. And while doing that, he also accidentally shared some pretty important truths about what he, and I'm assuming the rest of the Daily Wire crew behind this film, what they think. And it's really illuminating. We should listen to what Ben Shapiro tells us in his own words, and sort of we'll pause it and break it down one by one. Because there's some really interesting facts here, and I think a lot of you will be very interested in them, honestly. So let's pull this movie up. Let me give me 1 second here. Oh, where did the movie go? Not the movie. We're not watching the movie. I'm not gonna get content ID'd on YouTube for this freaking movie. But let's pull this up here. Oh, hold on. It didn't work. Why didn't it work? I don't know. Let me hold on. Let me pull the movie. We're not canceling this segment because it's an important one. Hold on. It'll take 1 second here. We could just always clip this clip this out. Nah, this is how we roll. We're doing it live, baby. That's how this is. All right, I'm downloading it now. All right, I'll just grab this version. This isn't for some reason the file that I downloaded, which was a better quality one, is not opening here. So I'll just download this one. This is the ripped one, that shows the YouTube, but it is what it is. Okay, this can't play either. Can none of these videos play?
I just got an important message.
Okay, that's not what I want to play, but I just wanted to make sure videos worked. All right, give me a second here. La-di-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da. let's download this version here. All right. All right, this will take a few seconds while I download the entire freaking Ben Shapiro clip. I downloaded a version that was clipped already, but for some reason, I don't know if the file's corrupt or something, but it's not opening on the in my program here. So give me a second. This is the straight version from YouTube. This should work, and then let's have to fast forward a little bit.
Well, folks, we here at
There
Daily
we go. Okay, perfect. We got the clip. Woohoo! I don't know what that was. Woohoo! Why did I say it like that? Woohoo! Yeah! A little bit of Mario, I guess. All right, so let's fast forward. So this is Lady Ballers here. This is it here. We can watch the. You want to watch the trailer to see how ridiculous it is? I mean, I don't want to promote, but you see the cinematography is like a major motion picture. They obviously put money behind this. They couldn't get any real actors though, because I guess no real actors wanted to be in this garbage. So they are the whole movie is basically a bunch of conservative influencers. All the Daily Wire hosts have roles in the movie. People like that. All right, so let's watch this part of the clip though. This is the part I wanted to play you guys. This is Ben Shapiro's truths right here, accidental truths. Let's listen. And I might pause throughout.
Yeah. We like to make friends.
Okay, so let's go back to the inception of this idea.
All right, so here we go. A little bit of behind the scenes IMDb facts we're going to get right here for Lady Ballers. Where did this idea come from? Such an original, creative idea. Men pretending to be women to join women's sports league so they could win as a sort of message against trans people. What a real conservative, creative idea here. Where did they get this from? But let's continue.
So you approached me and you said we should make a fictional film about this topic. Now, to be fair, I think I'd actually suggested to the Crane Boys that they do this as a doc.
Yes.
I originally went to them and I said, you guys should go try out for a bunch of ladies' leagues. And that became not possible because, as it turns out, most ladies' leagues don't allow in actual men.
Did you guys catch that? There's a few things there. There's a few interesting things there. For one, Ben Shapiro says that the original idea for Lady Ballers was to do a documentary, not a fictional scripted film. It was to do a documentary and have a bunch of the Daily Wire folks go out and try to join women's sports leagues. Men, Daily Wire men, try to join women's sports leagues for real, in real life, as a documentary. But they couldn't do that because what was Ben Shapiro's actual words again? Let's listen one more time.
And I said, you guys should go try out for a bunch of ladies' leagues. And that became not possible because, as it turns out, most ladies' leagues don't allow in actual men.
Actual men. Direct, verbatim quote from Ben Shapiro. Actual men are not allowed to play in women's sports leagues. And they discovered this via their original idea for the fictional Lady Ballers movie, which was to do a documentary where men tried to actually join real-life women's sports leagues, but they found out that they could not do that because actual men, Ben Shapiro's words, not mine, actual men can't join these leagues. And so that's why they couldn't do the documentary, because this isn't happening in real life. So they had to create a fictional scenario via a scripted comedy film in order to create Lady Ballers, which, again, is based on the premise that men are joining women's sports leagues to just dominate them. To just dominate them. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, I mean, they're basically, what Ben Shapiro said, let me lay it out flat for you. Ben Shapiro said right there, without realizing it, is that trans women who do play in women's sports leagues, and it's not a common thing, there's not very many trans women. It's mostly in like high schools and colleges where you play sports, and you're in a league right there. Once you get beyond that, only a very small amount of people go on to play sports professionally because they are the cream of the crop. And I don't. You could probably count the number of trans women, because again, in the big picture, just trans women overall, trans people overall, just a very small portion of very small demographic in the big picture of the U.S. population, for example. So this isn't something that's sweeping across the country that trans women are joining, dominating professional leagues and winning in sports that matter or something, or whatever they constantly trot out there. But what Ben Shapiro said, to reiterate here, is that the trans women playing in women's sports leagues are not actual men. Because if they were, they couldn't join the leagues. But they can join the leagues because they're not men. They are trans women. But you think that'd be enough, right? I mean, I loved it. It was great. But then Ben Shapiro goes on and lets another little truth out. Just another little whoopsie. Let's take a listen.
Men, and they weren't willing to go the full distance in terms of what it would require in order to, the actual hormone treatments and everything to play in some of the ladies' leagues. But in any case,
so the men that Ben Shapiro wanted in this documentary, again, I'm just assuming these are Daily Wire hosts, but who knows? Maybe they had other conservative influencers, whomever they had gotten for this idea of a documentary. They weren't willing to go the full distance, and by that he means go through the the regimen or procedures that are necessary for trans women to play in women's sports leagues, of taking hormones and such. Which is interesting because conservatives constantly tell us that it's so easy for a man to just join these leagues, pretend they're a woman, and just dominate cis women in these various sports leagues. And we're sometimes even told that, they just take the hormones because whatever, the benefits of winning, becoming a first place, medal winner or whatever in a college sport or swim meet or whatever it is, that the benefit outweighs the hormones altering your body. You just lie about being a woman, about gender dysphoria, join the league, take hormones, and dominate. And the question marks and then profit, I guess. But no, there's never any real profitable moment here for those trans women, right? I mean, like I said, it's mostly just people in high school and college for the most part. I mean, I think we've had one trans athlete so far, I think, make it into the Olympics, right? I mean, I'm not a big Olympics person, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So this hasn't really been a real profitable motive for them, but apparently they do this easy peasy, according to conservatives. But at the same time, the paid talent, the talent that Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire were paying, actual profit motive here, they weren't willing to take hormones to join the Women's Sports League so they could make their documentary. It's astonishing. 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 I mean, he really gave it all away there, right? He gave the whole thing away. It's amazing. All right, let's. Oh wait, someone said there's no trans athlete in the Olympics. No, there was one. I think her name Laurel Hubbard. I'm looking it up now. I didn't remember her name, but I remember this. She's a weightlifter. This is from Reuters, 2021. New Zealand's Laurel Hubbard made history on Monday by becoming the first openly transgender athlete to compete at an Olympic Games in a different gender category to that assigned at birth. But she suffered a disappointing early exit from the women's plus 87 kg final after 3 no lifts in the snatch. I mean, even in this case, the trans athlete made it to the Olympics, and interestingly, no benefit. Early exit. Did not dominate. Did not dominate. Huh. All right. I just love that clip. It's so funny. And so funny in a really satisfying way. Because I mean they say it. They say it without thinking. If he was thinking, he would have cuz that's the actual they know. They know. Cuz that's his unfiltered opinion there. He's not doing a politics segment, right? He's not doing one of his culture war segments. His guard was down. And he let the truth out. I'm not saying they like it, because obviously they don't. All right. Let's go to... What time is it? All right, cool. We got time for these other 2 segments here. All right. So this one I wanted to play. So I think we haven't spoken since, but Israel's bombing in Gaza has restarted and continued after there was a few days of ceasefire during the here in the U.S. Thanksgiving weekend. Number of hostages on both sides. The October 7th hostages from the Hamas attack. Some of them were released to Israel, and Israel released some Palestinian hostages who were arrested. Some, I think maybe even the majority, but I'm going to say some because don't quote me on the exact amount, never even charged with a crime of any sort, released. There was all this tension around from the Israeli government regarding worries of videos of celebrating Palestinians getting the freed hostages, and that going out there and showing happiness. And there was, from what I recall reading, there were 2 people shot and killed over the celebrations. I mean, really, and I think that first day they were like, of the bombing campaign restarting, something like 700 deaths in Gaza. It's the brutality of it is even escalating if you didn't even think that was possible. And the bombing campaign is now going further south, further displacing Palestinians in Gaza who were told by Israel to go south because that was the safe zone, and now they're being told to move further south and further south. I saw one clip of an Israeli official saying that there is a for sure safe area in Gaza for them that they should all go to, and then I think it was the BBC or Sky News showed a clip of this area they were talking about, and it's just absolutely desolate, just desert, sand dunes, nothing. Like, if they went there, what would they do for food? What? There was nothing there. And what we're seeing now is, this has been, I don't even want to say now, but it's really starting to ramp up, because as we get further and further from October 7th, what we're seeing is that, obviously, based on just how the news cycle works and how linear time works, people are focusing more and more on the now. Maybe just a few days in the past, but then what we can do or can be done in the now, and to perhaps do something to stop further death and destruction in the future. It's just the funny thing about people and how things work. As time goes on, they focus on the present and the future. Bring the past with you and learn lessons from the past, but you focus on what you can do now and in the future to change the course of things, because there's nothing you could do about you could learn lessons from the past, but even that involves you doing something in the present or the future. So what we're seeing now is a real, and I keep saying now, but it's just ramping up now. But this has been the case for the past 2 months almost. Constantly focusing on things that we already know, or controversies that have not been resolved, things that are still sort of not confirmed. We're seeing this sort of thing go on as the pro-Israel side of things want to sort of not focus on the now, not focus on. We're approaching, I think it's like 20,000 deaths in Gaza. You can. I mean, Israel would be flaunting, boasting those deaths if they were Hamas, but they're not. I'm not saying no Hamas members have died. You could even say a few thousand. You could even say a few thousand Hamas members have died. At this point, you could say thousands of Hamas people killed. If you want to go that far, I don't think it's thousands because I haven't seen it from Israel. Maybe it is 1,000. What's their latest thing? What's their latest? I don't even know. I don't even know if they've announced one. But the point of the matter is that we're at a point now where the civilian death toll is so high that you could even throw out 1,000 Hamas people have been killed. And the disproportionate, the disparity in the number of innocent civilians, the disproportionateness of it, of the innocent civilian deaths and Hamas deaths that we're just throwing out a number here, just don't make sense. Morbius says Israel is saying that only 2,000 were Hamas. So that would be roughly 10%. 10% of the people killed in if we're taking that number for its accuracy, 10%. 90% of the deaths have been innocent civilians. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. I mean, single civilian dying in this is horrendous. But the disparity here makes it clear that these aren't casualties of war. This is a campaign of, at its worst, purposefulness, and at its kindest to the Israeli side, carelessness. It's stunning. And I want to play this clip on CNN. Jake Tapper is interviewing a Israeli government representative. And Jake Tapper brings up that a CNN producer's family was just killed in Gaza. And even for a CNN host, even for Jake Tapper here, the response from the Israeli government official is so craven that even he's like, whoa, come on. Listen, let's watch this. Why can't I play this clip either? Unbelievable here. Let's see what's wrong here. All right, let's try this again.
That the IDF really
All right, hold on. Let me remove my background here so you can see this. All right, let's play this clip.
that the IDF really has done everything that is humanly possible to try to safeguard innocent civilians.
It's very hard to believe that, especially on a day when one of our producers lost 9 members of his family who were not members of Hamas, not members of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, not members of any group, just 9 people just trying to live their lives.
First of all, I extend my sorrow to him and my sympathies. But if I saw your report correctly, and please correct me if I say something wrong, that happened in northern Gaza, in Gaza City, where a month ago we already asked all the civilians to leave. And most of them did. If there was like 1,200,000 people there was only a couple of tens of thousands left. And one has to ask, yes, they had ample opportunity to leave. I don't know what happened. I don't have the specific circumstances. I know there's deadly combat going on now in the north, still between these IDF and Hamas terrorists, yes? And we don't want to see anyone caught up in the crossfire, but why didn't they heed the advice and
you
leave
can't
the
blame
area?
You can't blame them. There's now
I don't
fighting.
blame them.
But you can't. There's fighting in the South now. I mean, I've been asking this since October 7th. Where are these people supposed to go?
I mean, right. But here's the thing. Like I think Jake Tapper did a great job there. But here's the thing though. This is what he's missing. Where are these people supposed to go? He still seems to be, and this isn't just Tapper. This is all of them. Everyone in mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, every news outlet. Where are they supposed to go? The answer is pretty clear from the Israeli government's perspective here. The answer is nowhere. There's nowhere where they're supposed to go. Because that's not the point. I mean, they can't make it any clearer to you. They can't make it any more clear. How many more Israeli government officials, how many more members of the Knesset, how many more of these people who are in high-ranking positions of authority in the Israeli government, in Netanyahu's government, Netanyahu himself included here, how many more of them have to come out and simply say, every single person in Gaza is complicit in our eyes. And so whatever happens, happens. Yeah, they drop the pamphlets. Yeah, they do the phone calls. I don't know if they're doing the phone calls anymore because who they calling? What houses are standing? Who they calling here? But that's all for us. Like that's for the American, the Western audience. So they can sort of feign this idea that they're doing something for civilians. He just told you that he blames those innocent civilians, the CNN producer's family. He was told just there that they were Hamas. They weren't Hamas. They weren't Islamic Jihad. They weren't involved in this at all. Just everyday innocent Palestinian civilians. And what did he have to say? Yeah, their death's still their fault. There's nowhere they can go. And it's by design. It's by design. It's by design since 2005. There's a blockade. They're trapped. That's why people call it an open-air prison. Yeah, they live their lives in there over the past, 15 or 17 some odd years or whatever it is. Yeah, they have cell phones and things like that. Yeah, I mean, guess what? In prison, you get things too. I mean, they're trapped there. There's nowhere for them to go. It's really, it gets, what more, like, this is the problem with how this is being covered. Even when Tapper, again, I've criticized him before. I think he's not always great on this specific topic, but this was good. It was just straight up to the point, but still missing the forest for the trees here. This is how it's gonna go, and this is what's gonna continue until somebody decides it's enough. Because that's what's gonna happen. Like I think people should really understand here. There's going to be a point where this is no longer going to be acceptable. there's going to be that red line for the majority of people at some point. It's astonishing and super sad that that line hasn't already been crossed maybe 6-7 weeks ago, whatever it's been. But there's going to be a point where the majority of people in authority, in power, in government say that, holy shit, this is ridiculous. The question that should be asked now is, where is your red line? To every single congressperson, the White House, the Biden administration, the State Department, whoever you, where is your red line? When is enough going to be enough? You say it's until every Hamas member is killed. Okay. What if that doesn't happen? Because it's not. Okay, you say when Hamas is out of power. Okay, what if there's 2 point some odd million Palestinians in Gaza? What if 2 million of them have to die? What if we're left with the few 100,000 people there? Where is the red line here for you? When is it going to be enough dead, innocent civilians? When have enough Palestinian children going to die where you say, no, this has gone too far? Because there's going to be that point for everybody. Is the red line going to be when it gets so bad that Israel actually goes ahead and openly says, okay, we're driving everyone out of Gaza for now. Like this is we're those those Knesset members that we called fringe, and they were floating these plans, and we were saying, oh no, we wouldn't do that. No, actually we are. Is that going to be the red line? How many people are going to die for us till we get there? Is just it kills me, and I'm sure it kills all of you, because we could just sit here and talk about it. There's nothing we could do. Completely helpless. Completely helpless. Biden's underwater for an election that's 10 months away, and that hasn't. No worries. No altering of anything, to just nothing. Doesn't even matter. Because that's really where we have the power. The threat of voting them out. Or not voting at all. But that doesn't seem to have any effect here. I'm not saying stop. Because all those activists out there are doing great work in getting whatever we get out of it. Because that work is going to end up getting people to that red line that I talked about sooner than they would have without that. But it's still frustrating, obviously. I don't want to get people wrong here. I'm always the optimist, but for this scenario, it's depressing. I don't know what else to say. It's so fucking depressing. I don't know how you don't look at those videos of those kids. You don't even need to look at the dead bodies. The kids crying. Orphaned. Just dirt and decay and blood and building remnants all over them. I don't know. I don't know what Jesus Christ, man. I don't know. Fucking unbelievable. And then they attack anything, anything, and I'm specifically talking about the sort of, obviously, the Israeli government, any sort of pro-Israel sort of propagandists out there, because that's what it is. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, Hamas has propaganda too. That's what it is. Hamas puts out those videos with the red triangles. That's propaganda. Yeah, but that's the same thing on the other side. Israel does the same thing. You got the videos of the guy, the Palestinian, the elderly Palestinian man holding up his, I'm guessing, grandson, dead body of the dead, what was it, 6 month or 10 month, just months old baby, and they're saying it's a doll, saying that's not real. Do you not see the videos? A doll. Like, the focus really should be on freeing those hostages. Those innocent hostages that were taken and are currently who knows where in Gaza, if they're still alive. The hostages that are still being held. I would love for the focus to be strictly on that, because that would mean nothing else is happening there. Like when they ask, oh, what about the focus on the hostages are actually in Gaza alive, being kept alive. Hamas is keeping them alive because they need them as a bargaining chip, a bargaining tool. So they're alive in Gaza. You don't have to worry about their life in Gaza right now because Hamas wants them alive so they could use them to get what they want. You don't have to even take my word. No, we just saw that happen. We saw a lot of Israeli hostages released. I think a couple dozen, if not more. Because Hamas got something out of it. But we can't focus on those innocent hostages being held in Gaza because there are bombs being dropped on even more innocent civilians in Gaza, causing death and destruction. I mean, the idea that we're not focused on the hostages is because of Israel and their campaign and how they're going about all this. Like it's so annoying to see people bring up the focus isn't on October 7th. Oh, the focus isn't on the hostages. I just explained all of that in this past segment. Linear time works in a way in which we need to focus on what can happen right here, right now. October 7th is now in the past. Doesn't mean people get away with it. Doesn't mean we just forget it. But people are going to focus on things that can be changed. Things they could do something about. And right now, what we could do to save lives that were most affected on October 7th, that date, would be to do whatever you can to get the hostages out, which is not what Israel is doing by dropping bombs on Gaza. In both a strategic way, how are you going to negotiate to get the hostages if you're dropping bombs? You could also possibly kill the hostages by dropping bombs. But also just in the information war as well. Yeah, we're not focused on the hostages because how can you focus on the hostages when you're getting reports of 700 dead people every single day? All right. It's it'll leave it. It's. All right. Let's. What time is it? We got time for. Yeah, we got another 10 minutes. Let's get to this. So we're not moving away from what's going on in Israel Palestine, but this is the other part of it, that sort of information war I just mentioned, the propaganda. Now, let me make sure I got everything here. Okay. So, all right, let's pull this up. You might have seen this TikTok poll going around by this guy, Anthony Goldblum. He looks like he is a tech founder, investor, someone of that nature. In his bio here, he's an investment partner at AIX Ventures, previously CEO of Kaggle, which is a community of data scientists. He posted this viral tweet over on Twitter. Hold on, let me zoom in here. And let me also get myself up on the screen. Okay, so Anthony Goldblum here posted this on Twitter. And it says, a new survey suggests TikTok is a meaningful driver of a surge in anti-Semitism. Hashtag TikToxic. Clever. Spending at least 30 minutes a day on TikTok increases the chances a respondent holds anti-Semitic or anti-Israel views by 17% compared with 6% for Instagram and 2% for X. And then he shows this graph that there's a relationship between platform usage and anti-Semitic / anti-Israel views. Huh. Now this immediately caught my attention because, for one, obviously the obvious sleight of hand here, the trick right here from whomever. I believe this is Anthony Goldblum's survey, but whoever's behind the survey that he posted, the clever sleight of hand here, the clever trick here, is anti-Semitic / anti-Israel views. Now those are two completely separate things. Now I know things are getting a little bit wacky here in the U.S., where a resolution was just passed by our wonderful Congress members, where 300, the vast majority of the House, decided to pass a resolution today claiming that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, even though Jewish members of the House, Democrats like Jerry Nadler, came out and said that's not true. Anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism, and he used the example of the various Hasidic, ultra-conservative Jewish sects that are anti-Zionist, which was telling to me that he preferred to use them as the example than all the left-wing anti-Zionist Jews, which namely are the young Jewish community, like Gen Z, millennials. That's them, but he didn't name them because they're not even a blip on his radar, I guess. But who knows? And he only rallied 90 some odd Democrats to vote present, not even no on this. Only people who voted no on this was 14 Democrats, I think, mostly the Squad, and Thomas Massey, the one Republican. 300 plus, including 95, I think, Democrats voted yes on this, including Maxwell Frost, the one Gen Z person in Congress. Great job, buddy. Really representing your generation there. Anyway. So right away, this graph, though, because for the vast majority of thinking people with a brain, who I guess aren't 300 plus Congress members, know that anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism because, yes, a lot of Jews hold anti-Zionist views. I'm going to get shit for saying a lot of Jews. A significant number of Jews hold anti-Zionist views, okay? And another tell for me was where he goes here in this thread where he breaks down the survey. This is the main one that really struck me. Anthony Goldblum comes to the decision after looking at this survey and that graph. Let's look at that graph. And really, if you're looking at that graph, man, look how much more anti-Semitism and anti-Israel views are gotten off of TikTok than even X. Wait, what? Huh? And his conclusion is, in the past, TikTok has taken action on White Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, Letter to America. There are a series of hashtags starting with Free Palestine that, like White Lives Matter, sound innocuous, but are endangering young Jews. Those hashtags should go. So basically, he's using this survey to make the case that TikTok should ban the Free Palestine hashtag. Wow. And also conflating Free Palestine with White Lives Matter, and also saying that they both sound innocuous. To who does White Lives Matter sound innocuous? Like, they give away the whole game there. White Lives Matter does not sound innocuous. Maybe if you're completely unfamiliar with politics, you could argue that the All Lives Matter version of that was their way of sounding innocuous, but White Lives Matter does not sound innocuous. Maybe that's where your brain's at, Anthony Goldblum, which says a lot about you, perhaps. But yeah, this is disgusting. Equating literally white supremacist neo-Nazi phrases to Free Palestine. Drawing that line is just unbelievable. But I mean, already to me, the survey was bullshit, because clearly something is off here, because they are conflating anti-Semitic and anti-Israel views. So, for all you know, the vast majority of these could be just anti-Israel views. Anti-Israeli government, anti the occupation, could be a number of things that are being pulled in here. And we know that TikTok, because of the natural way, that the organic way that platform has evolved over the years, from its very beginnings too, as a lip syncing app for young people, when it was called Musical.ly, before ByteDance acquired it and turned it into the U.S. version of TikTok. We know that whole platform skews young. So it could just be a natural way this bears out. Young people are very critical of what's happening in Gaza, what Israel's doing. If this is mostly anti-Israel views, then it makes sense that TikTok would be up in the air like that. Well, Anthony Goldblum shared a link to GitHub, which provided the raw data results behind this survey. And listen, I don't know if he thought no one would look. I don't know if he thought that people will look, but who cares, because I'm getting my version of the data out there, my interpretation of the data out there, and it's got 3.7 million views, 6,200 likes. It's got everything. It's went viral. I got it out there. But whatever reason, he put the data out there. And now I'm still looking through this data. I haven't had a time to really sit down with it. But someone, Colin Fraser on Twitter, he did look through the data. And I've double checked him to the best of my abilities. He's provided his own GitHub with the data extrapolation that he did. And here's a chart here where he looks at the actual questions in the survey and then charts them. Puts the data on the chart here. And so in his data, he didn't include Instagram. He included Twitter, X, which is the blue line, TikTok, which is the green line, and then television, which is the red line, because that's one of the data points in the original survey that Anthony Goldblum shared. He just didn't put television on his graph. Unfortunately, also, there is no, from what I've seen, any details when it comes to what television. Are we talking CNN? Are we talking about MSNBC? Are we talking about local news? Are we talking about Fox News? Are we talking about an amalgamation of just all television that people are watching, like regular television habits? I don't know, but this is TV. Well, Colin Fraser looked at that data, the same data Anthony Goldblum looked at, and instead of saying, I know better than you, I don't have to give you the questions and chart that, like Anthony Goldblum did, and said, I'm just going to say all this is anti-Semitic and anti-Israel. It's all the same thing. Here's what it looks like. Colin Fraser broke down the questions themselves. And what he found was that in almost every one of these questions that could be considered anti-Semitic, TikTok was not the worst. By far not the worst. For example, here's one of the questions from the survey, or one of the statements in the survey that people have to agree with or not. Compared to other groups, Jewish people have too much power in the media. Now, this is clearly an anti-Semitic trope. That's not anti-Israel, because the wording is specific. Jewish people have too much power in media. Well, agree with the statement. Mostly people with a relationship with television. Followed by then. In fact, no. It seems like it's pretty much tied, because I guess the larger percentage agrees with television, but there's a spike too with the percentage. Yeah, it's not TikTok though. That's the point. Look at how that TikTok way down there. Another question tracked here. Jewish people talk about the Holocaust just to further their political agenda. Now, I mean, clearly there you go again. That's not anti-Israel, that's anti-Semitic. X all the way up there. Huge portion. Just around, what is that? Almost 50% at some point. Oh, just to be clear, the X axis is self-reported time spent on the platform. So the more time you spend on X, the more time you believe that Jewish people talk about the Holocaust just to further their political agenda. Whereas the opposite is actually true on TikTok, which is all the way at the bottom there. Another question. Jewish people chase money more than other people do. Well, there you go. Clearly anti-Semitic, just like the main trope that Eric Cartman believes in South Park, that like makes him a bad guy. TikTok once again at the bottom here. I mean, this is the same for every question across the board, pretty much. And then Colin Fraser even tracked other conspiracies and other things that the survey asked. And again, X is at the top for like all these. The Holocaust did not take place, or the death toll of Jews is exaggerated. That's one of them. The more time you spend on X, the more likely you are to believe that. More so than television or TikTok. The Sandy Hook massacre was faked using actors. Television and Twitter all the way up top. TikTok down low. I gotta spend more time on this data. I gotta get someone who knows how to is an expert at reading all of this data for every one of these platforms, so we could look further into it. I mean, I could go through it, but I'm not gonna. I'm not good at making these graphs and charts. I'm not a data guy when it comes to visual data like this. Why is climate change in there? Asked Carol. Oh, the point of this other chart was to just show other questions that were asked in this survey. Climate change is seasonal, which is not true. But a lot of people on X, more time you spend on X, the more likely you are to believe it. I mean, it's there is a real push against TikTok. There always has been, obviously, because of its ties to China. But at the end of the day, TikTok's not great. But TikTok's no worse than any other platform. Really. Does it have unique issues? Sure. Every platform has unique issues. But I don't see what's worse with TikTok than any other of these platforms, other than the fact that more young people are on it. And so people who, or ideas that are unpopular with young people, those people who believe in those ideas get very angry with TikTok because that's the platform of choice for those young people to espouse those beliefs. And to take that away, that platform away specifically from that audience would be so it would be gross. It'd be absolutely gross. Why not shut down Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or Twitter or any of these platforms that also engage in all sorts of misinformation, ability to harass, spread hate and violent rhetoric sometimes, share terrorist views. Why is the focus just on TikTok? I mean, we know, I just said it. But you can't logically make that argument. All right, folks, let's go to the second half of the show. I'll take some calls. Yeah, let's do some calls. You can call in via Skype. Search Doomed Live, and I will answer your call as they come in. I attempted to restart my newsletter this week. I am starting it fresh, anew, and under a new name, a new title for the newsletter. But I don't know if it's because I already had my own personal Substack account and then the Misinfo newsletter Substack account. Something happened where I've been flagged. So I'm waiting for Substack to approve the newsletter. And the reason I'm going with Substack, I'm going to have an article explaining. I did not use Substack. I stopped doing the newsletter back when Substack was paying certain people who I find to be not great exorbitant amounts of money to have their newsletters there. So I stopped. I didn't want to be on a platform that was acting as a publisher. They since have stopped doing that. The only way to make money from Substack now is the same way you make money on YouTube or on Patreon or on any other platform where your subscribers have to become a paid subscriber, and that's how you make money. And that, to me, then turns them back from a publisher to a platform. And I spoke with certain people who I respect that are on Substack, who have newsletters on Substack, and they told me that they've also went through the same thing I did, but continued Substack for various reasons, and their reasons are I'm glad I spoke with them, because my feeling has always been, if it's a platform, you should be on there, because otherwise, if it's a mainstream platform, obviously you don't need to go on Rumble or Gab or anything like that. But to me, Substack is more analogous to Twitter. It's a mainstream platform that you should not cede to certain individuals. You need to be on there combating those views, because it's not just a fringe platform. It's a platform where mainstream individuals are on. So that's my explanation for that. But I'll have that up soon. If you want to subscribe now, you can just go to the Misinfo one, misinfo.com, MISINFO, and subscribe there. I will be exporting those emails to the new newsletter. The reason I'm changing the name is because I didn't want to just calling the newsletter the Misinformation newsletter, misinfo.com. I feel like it sort of sequestered me into just debunking misinformation or disinformation. And I don't want to give people that feeling. It's going to be more than just that. That'll be included for sure, because that's part of my deal. But it'll be more than just that. What am I going to do with misinfo? I'm going to think about it. I'm going to figure out what to do with that. I'm not getting rid of that domain. That's a great domain name. Yeah, so that's that. I'll let you know as soon as that launches. It'll probably, hopefully, launch before we do another stream together. Maybe by the time Leftist Mafia is on Thursday. It's the last time we spoke, it was November. Now it's December. First of the month has come and gone. That means tons of losses on Patreon. We are any sort of growth we did over the past year we're now like back to where we were at the end of 2022. It sucks. Mostly my fault. Also, mostly the economy's fault. Number of people had to cancel. I'm really bad at promoting the Patreon. I also don't like the changes Patreon's made. I got to figure out how to clean the Patreon up and reinvigorate it. I will get on that. I think when I get the newsletter launched, everything will be much more organized for me. But if you like the stream and you like the podcast version of this stream and you like what I do, that's the way to support me. Go to patreon.com/MattBinder and become a subscribing member. I want to thank the people who have since the last time we spoke. Where did they go here? Daniel S., thank you so much for becoming a patron. Tony Rizzo, thank you so much for becoming a patron. And Marilena V, thank you so much for becoming a patron. Really appreciate the support. Literally cannot do this without you. So if you can become a patron at patreon.com/MattBinder, that'd be great. Oh, a bunch of people just subscribed for free, obviously, because there's not a paid version of it yet, to the newsletter. Thank you so much. The newsletter is going to be a very important way, I think, to keep in touch with me. And I'm going to really what I'm thinking to really make you understand why I think this is so important, because there's a lot of things I don't get to cover that are sort of like too small for a full-blown article, but too much for like a tweet. I do this stream once a week. I'm on Leftist Mafia once. I do 3 streams a week altogether. This stream, Majority Report, Leftist Mafia. With all the topics, there's a lot of things I don't get to break down. The newsletter will be really good at basically me showing you guys like all the things I sort of come across that I am able to like touch on and debunk or take apart or break down that I just haven't been able to do through those other mediums. So definitely sign up, and I will move all your emails to the new newsletter name. I like the new name. I don't want to give it away yet. So yeah, check that out. And of course, patreon.com/MattBinder to financially support the show. Don't forget youtube.com/MattBinder. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You could also become a member there if you prefer. If you're a live stream viewer and you want those emotes, I get it. You could become a member there, paying member there. Also, if you want to give a one-off, you could do a super chat. And I'll read your super chats in the second half of the show we go into right now. Twitch.tv/MattBinder as well. Be sure to connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account so you get that free Twitch Prime subscription every month. And give it to me if you have no one else to give it to. It's free money for me. Costs you nothing extra. You're forced to give Jeff Bezos less of your money. It's fantastic. You should do it. And with all that said, I am going to go to the second half of the show. If you're watching live, if you're a Patreon subscriber, nothing changes for you. Stay right there. Don't move. You don't even got to change the stream, excuse me. I'm just going to take a quick break. Refill my drink. Close my eyes for a second because I'm tired. But I'm ready to go for a full call-in half of the show. Let's do this. Doomed Live on Skype. If you are a free podcast listener of this show, this is what I say to you. Well, first of all, check it out at doomedcast.com. And then this is what I say to you. I will see you all next time on Doomed.
Ecological collapse. Corporate fascism. Corporate journalism. Police brutality. Voter suppression. Austerity economics. Educate the masses. Rampant homophobia.
We got our first caller. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Matt?
Hey,
You from Jamaica?
Dave from Jamaica. How are you doing, my friend? What are we going to be talking about today? I don't think you are exactly what you claim you are. I would say you're a conservative. What makes you a liberal?
I'm pro-Green New Deal.
Are you? Yes, really? Absolutely. I have watched the show. I've seen you completely come out and get really mad at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for some of the things in the Green New Deal.
You mean like free college for black people?
We are back. This is the second half of the show. Ooh, look at that. Already got calls coming in. Let's do this. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Matt.
Hey, who's this?
This is Governor of Florida and presidential candidate Ron DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis. Oh my God, this is huge, folks. Hey Ron, how you doing? how you doing? How
I'm
are
feeling
things?
very good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. What's going
That's
on?
great.
I mean,
That's great. That's terrific. That's wonderful. I'm preparing for my very important debate tomorrow night.
There's a debate tomorrow night.
Yep.
Is there really? Is a GOP debate tomorrow night?
Do you keep up with the news?
Holy
Are you
shit.
aware of the things that are going on in this world?
I forgot that there was a Republican debate. We got 4 people this time only. Who we got?
Well, I haven't forgotten. I haven't forgotten because I'm going to get on that stage and I'm going, as Beyonce says, I'm going to slay.
Really? Beyonce says that?
I think that's what the kids tell me.
Oh, the kids are telling you. The kids are telling you things?
Yes, as a matter of fact. And they're telling me they're very happy in Florida now that we've eliminated the woke.
Interesting.
They're very happy.
That's what
just like me. Just like me. I'm a very happy man.
You sound very happy. Speaking of how happy you are, I came across this report today in Bloomberg. Do you mind if I quickly read down a quick 2-sentence summary of what this report is?
I don't mind. Go right ahead, Matt.
Okay, so the headline is DeSantis campaign in turmoil ahead of Republican primary voting. And then the subhead is 3 top super PAC officials have departed in recent weeks. Campaign staff, donors are skeptical of DeSantis' chances. And the author of this article, Nancy Cook of Bloomberg, in her tweet promoting the article, she summarized it as such. DeSantis has privately acknowledged to friends and allies that Trump holds so much sway over GOP voters that it leaves little room for alternative candidates. The timing may not have been right for DeSantis to run, according to allies. What do you make of that?
Well, it's obviously just fake news. I have full support from all of my PACs.
Wait, you've never privately acknowledged to your friends and allies that Trump holds so much sway over GOP voters that it leaves little room for you?
President Trump was a great president, a fantastic president, an amazing president. But it's time for me to become president now. It's very simple.
Wait.
Disney. I've defeated Disney. I've defeated the woke. We fought the woke on the oceans.
You defeated Disney.
The beaches. We fought the woke in the schools. We fought the woke everywhere it attacked us in Florida, and now we've beaten it in the free state of Florida, Matt.
In your war with Disney, what did you consider a victory? What was the victory there?
The victory was making sure that our children aren't affected by the woke agenda of people like Disney and other people.
But you did that. How did you do that? How did you defeat Disney? What did you do to them?
I sued them into oblivion.
But you did it. There's still, I mean, I don't think that lawsuit is finished. I'm pretty sure, in fact, I'm pretty sure Florida tried to dismiss it and Disney was like, nuh-uh. Like, Florida, we're going ahead with this.
Let's not bring up the slight hurdles I've had to go through in order to eliminate woke from Florida.
All right, we won't. But Mike, let's go back to this though. You said that Donald Trump, great president, perfect president, amazing president. I think those were your words, right?
Great president, a wonderful president, a great
best president of all time.
My turn now. It's
Best
my turn.
Wait, would you say he was the best president of all time?
He might be the best president of all time, but it's still my turn.
Right. So, going by that logic, if being that he's still alive, and not only alive but actively running to be president again, and you consider him to be one of the greatest presidents of all time and a great man, by that logic, wouldn't it make most sense for you to support Donald Trump to be the next president of the United States?
Here you go again, Matt, using things like logic and CRT and woke math to try and convince me that I should not be president right now.
Wait, hold on. You should be president right now, or is there something we don't know that you're? Are you saying you should have? You actually won in 2020 somehow?
Of course, in the next election.
Okay, just
when I will defeat Joe Biden and make America Florida again.
Oh, is that your very specific one single state out of 50?
State in the nation, Matt. It's very simple, and I'm a very happy man.
What do you think of? What do you think of?
I'm going to bring happiness back to America. It's very simple, Matt.
What do you think of Pennsylvania, Ohio, North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona?
They're all going to love me. And if they don't, I'm going to yell at them until they do. It's very simple, Matt. I have a winning strategy. I'm going to get up there tomorrow night. I'm going to make Chris Christie look fatter than he's ever looked before. With points.
Whoa, are you trying some Trump lines here?
Look, just because I move my hands like I'm playing an invisible accordion, much like the former president, doesn't mean that I'm stealing things from him.
I don't think I've ever heard you say anything about Chris Christie's weight, but that's a Trump classic.
Not true.
Okay.
Not true.
Okay. So when have you said something about Chris Christie's weight before?
Well, it's time to break out the big guns.
Okay.
So
you haven't. I was correct. You haven't said something before.
America Firstist agenda.
America Firstist.
Where we eliminate the strange people who walk amongst us, the strange-looking people with odd-colored hair. This will all be gone, Matt. This will be gone from America. We will make America just like Florida is now.
So we're against like anything like that's like alternative, anything that we consider construed of woke, dyed hair, colored hair, right? You're against that.
Of course.
Lots of piercings. Where do you land on piercings?
Oh, these are disgusting. These are absolutely disgusting. The American people are on my side when it comes to these things.
Body modifications out the window. That's woke, right?
Should be right out.
Now, usually, like in that whole aesthetic, the whole
transing of America.
But in that whole,
see it, Matt.
Okay, all right, if that's what you're gonna say. But in that whole sort of aesthetic, you're banning here. That sort of like alternative, alt subculture, punk, goth aesthetic that a lot of, I guess young trans people do sort of feel welcome in those scenes there. Very large.
It's just another symptom of the woke mind virus.
Also,
that's
though,
taking over this country.
Also, traditionally included with that woke ideology, that alternative subculture with the piercings and the tattoos and the dyed hair, the woke is platform shoes, very high heeled shoes. Where do you stand on that?
This is not biblical.
So you're against that, right?
Absolutely.
So why do you wear them?
Absolutely against it.
But why do you wear them yourself, though? We've seen that you wear boots with very high platformed heels. That's
a total lie. That's a total lie, Matt. And you know it. You're
Hold on.
repeating the same things. You didn't research this on your website, your Lunchables, your tech website. I've read your things on there. It's all fake news.
Ron,
I
I've seen the photos of you wearing these
miles
large
away.
platformed shoes,
Miles
these boots. Are you turning woke,
Not-
Ron? Are you
true.
turning woke?
Not true. Not true.
Are you turning
No.
woke, Ron DeSantis?
Not true.
Oh, Ron, hold on. I just got to think really quick. Dylan Burns just rated me. Hello, Dylan Burns viewers on the line right now. I have a very special treat for all of you. It's Ron DeSantis, who's
Hello, Dylan Burns viewers. I hope you're happy. I hope you're enjoying yourself.
Are you
And
familiar with
getting ready to vote for me, Ron DeSantis, for president of these United States.
Are you familiar with Dylan Burns, Ron DeSantis?
Well, no, I just
All right, so
heard you say his name.
Dylan Burns is a streamer who he's been reporting on the Russia war in Ukraine for the past year plus now, 2 years since it started. He's been on the ground there too. What is your opinions on Ukraine and Russia, Ron DeSantis?
Well, considering that there's some things that Russia has done for Florida and myself, I'm not willing to speak on that issue right now. I mean,
okay.
I'll be talking about it when I get my 60 seconds late tomorrow night.
Would a DeSantis administration continue to fund Ukraine?
Well, we'd have to look at that very seriously, in a very serious manner, with very serious people. And I'm a very serious person. You could tell that, Matt.
Well, Trump said he would not. He thinks he thinks it's ridiculous. He's knocked Zelensky. So you're divided with Trump, who you claimed just minutes ago is the greatest president of all time. So you don't agree with him here.
Just because he was the greatest president of all time doesn't mean that I have to agree with him on everything. Just most things. And something.
Okay.
Or whichever things that I decide that I want to agree with him on.
Okay.
But he's not the greatest president that we've ever had, but my time is 2024.
Got it. All right. Well, thank you for the call, Ron DeSantis. I really appreciate it. It was great talking with you.
It was very wonderful talking with you, Matt. I hope you have a wonderful, absolutely wonderful evening. Thank you so much.
Good luck in your debate tomorrow, which I had no idea was even happening.
Thank you. You should keep up with the news a little bit more, Matt. Thank you.
Take care. Wow, folks. Only on this show do you get to hear from people like Ron DeSantis, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Donald Trump calls in. We often got treats for you all. It's a great. If you're joining me for the first time, be sure to follow me on Twitch or subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/MattBinder. We got another call coming in. You can call, by the way, too. Skype. Doomed Live on Skype. I'll take your calls. We'll have a good time talking, chatting. I love to hear from new callers as well. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Charlie from Washington. How you doing, bud?
Hey, Charlie from Washington. What's up? What was it to talk about? Oh, can I pull you up on the feed?
Yes, please do.
What was it to talk about?
Yeah, I found it kind of funny that they tried to make the from the river to the sea as an equation of White Lives Matter, because it just shows that the right has absolutely
it wasn't.
no creativity
It wasn't
whatsoever.
even that. It wasn't even from the river. It was even worse. They tried to equate free Palestine with White Lives Matter.
Yeah.
That's even worse because there is no, the whole bad faith sort of argument out there on from the river to the sea. There's not even that for free Palestine.
Yeah.
Well, I think there
but
sort of is, but it's not as broad. Yeah.
It kind of leads into something that's it's not newsworthy per se. It's just kind of, I find it kind of humorous. But did you see that the trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6 dropped?
It leaked. Yes, I covered the leak too on my day job in Mashable because it leaked on
What?
X. It leaked on Twitter.
I didn't realize it was. I didn't realize it was a leak, but I find it kind of hilarious
Yeah.
that the
So
right
the
is now doing the. They're
right.
talking about Grand Theft Auto 6 as they're doing like the moral panic that they did when I was a kid, like before I played my first one. Which
The right is
it's the
transforming.
same thing.
The right is transforming into Tipper Gore and Hillary Clinton on GTA 6. They are lockstep
It's
in.
the It's like literally the exact same arguments. Like I remember, because my mom, when I was a kid, she was like, "You can't play that," because she bought into the whole you got to kill cops for points, and there's hookers and stuff in it. That's not really what the game is like at all. And eventually I explained to her, and she was cool with it. But it's the same exact shit. They can't come up with any new material. Nothing. Like, not even that Lady Ballers thing. That's not new.
Yeah, it's the same rehash thing. That's all they got. They don't know. They don't got anything else. I mean,
It's
it's so like ridiculous.
I got a good laugh out of that. My first one was Vice City. I had a lot of fun with that because I like the 80s as a decade, and it's basically Scarface, but as a video game, but also funny. Um, yeah, I'll probably buy 6 just
I mean,
for
it
old
comes
time's
out in
sake.
2025. We got literally a year before
I
that
have
thing's
plenty
even
of
gonna
time.
hit.
I have
So
plenty
I
of
mean, yeah.
that. I'm
I
gonna
mean,
have to try and
I got
upgrade.
no real opinion on it. It's too soon. I mean, the previous GTA's were fun. I was never a big GTA fan. Nothing against it, just not my type of game. I mean, the most fun I had was with GTA was not even like doing any storylines, just racking up the stars and seeing
Oh
how
yeah, no,
long you
that's the
could.
whole point of it.
Yeah, and seeing
You
how long you
basically you
could.
go.
Yeah, hold off the police. That's the most fun thing about GTA.
Yeah, you just go in there and be like the most agent of chaos that you can be, and you just get it out of your system. It's cathartic a little bit, you know. And
Right. Oh, but
I never
the
played the story.
Elon tweet is so good. It's so good. Oh my god. So people who don't know,
Yes,
Elon.
that's what I'm talking about.
So
It's the same thing.
well, his
He's
was
like, what
his
is
was
fucking 90s, dude? Come on. Shit's older than my grandpa. God damn.
so
But
so so
yeah,
just
no, I just
hold on, for people who don't know though, let me just quickly break it down. So the GTA 6 trailer is supposed to leak. Excuse me, the GTA 6 trailer, this game that is a decade in the making, super popular video game franchise, Grand Theft Auto, the sixth one, GTA 6. The trailer was supposed to come out 9 a.m. today. The debut trailer was supposed to be a big deal. Yesterday afternoon, the trailer leaked on Twitter. A brand new setup account just called GTA 6 trailer leak was set up, and they uploaded the trailer. It was up there for like an hour. It was quickly suspended. Because of it, GTA 6, Rockstar Games, the publisher behind GTA 6, decided we gotta now put up our official trailer because the leaked one already went out there. So they put it out there, and they didn't upload it to Twitter for over a day. They just uploaded it like a few hours ago because Linda Yaccarino is basically begging them to upload it there too. But they uploaded it yesterday to YouTube, and they put it out a day early because of the leak. And I don't know if Elon said this because of they didn't upload it to Twitter, or I have no idea. But ex-employee tweeted that they were not a fan of they never played any of the GTA games. And Elon replies, tried, but didn't like doing crime. GTA 5 required shooting police officers in the opening scene. Just couldn't do it. It's a video game. It's not real. You're not doing actual crime. You're not doing crime.
It's literally.
You're not shooting police officers for real. It's a video game.
Yeah, it's literally the same moral panic argument my mom had for not letting me play it as a kid, and you know that was kind of a couple of the churches we went to were talking about shit like that. Like, you know, these games are evil. They're gonna convince kids to be criminals and shit. You know,
I love the idea of Elon not being able to shoot pixelated virtual cops in a video game. It is like I can't. It's just so ridiculous. The visual,
I,
like I can't do. I can't do it.
you know,
I'm not gonna be
you,
able to do it. I can't. I can't. I'm
you
sorry.
know,
Just kill me. I can't. You get me instead. It's unbelievable.
you know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like he fired it up and he got wasted, and then he got wasted again, and he sucks at it, and now he's just making excuses. Like it's like when he posted the Elden Ring thing where he did a double shield run, and like I beat the game with 2 shields. It's like, sure you did, but I
See, I
believe
know
you.
nothing
Yeah,
about Elden Ring because I don't play games. That's too immersive for me.
I like Elden Ring because I like From Software's work. They do a lot of games that remind me a lot of Metroid and Metroidvanias, that style where you wander around like a big open map and you do a lot of backtracking and stuff like that. I like the collectathon. I like to collect everything. It's my tick. Uh, but
Right.
you
I mean,
know,
for
I
me,
just
I'm enjoying the new Fortnite season. Oh man, I love it. It's so much fun.
Hey man, if that's what you're good at, I'm not very good at online shooters because I don't spot them as quickly as they spot me. So I just play stuff that I like playing.
Right. Yeah, I can't do the relaxing type games. I can't do like the character building games. It's not for me. Not for me. I like quick and easy. Well, it's not easy, but you jump right in there and get right in the action.
I will say for like Dark Souls and stuff, I do like so it's a single player game, but it's connected to online. So you can summon in friends to help you with like bosses and stuff. So it's like a pseudo multiplayer. But if you're in a state where you can summon humans, you can get invaded by other players too, and then you have to duel them, and they're
That's
always like really tense, and it adds a lot of paranoia to going through what is essentially I describe Dark Souls as like a survival horror action RPG, like a survival horror version of like Zelda, where you actually have stats and stuff instead of just like collecting hearts or whatever. But like that's my jam. Because I like wandering around dead kingdoms in games. That's just what I'm into. But yeah, I just thought it was hilarious. Like literally the same exact moral panic arguments that happened when GTA was first popping off back in the day, and like it's just another thing that I can point at to prove my whole theory that like they don't have any creativity because they're so rigidly stuck to tradition and basically thoughts that came before them that were thought by somebody else. There's no critical thinking there. That's why they're all failed Hollywood writers and actors and shit. They can't do it. You know, especially if there's a lot of Christian fundamentalism too, because the unquestioning following of what God says, it's just your pastor, but what God says, that teaches you to not think critically about stuff, and that's a hard habit to unwind and build back up as an adult. So, but yeah, you're kind of cutting in and out a little bit on my phone, so I'm gonna let you go and call somebody else. But I just wanted to talk about something kind of light and stupid, given how horrific the news has been lately. So yeah, let's all point and laugh at conservatives.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
All right, Charlie. Great call. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Yeah, have a good day. Oh, wait, real quick. Anne made a little thing you could put on screen to tell everybody how to call in. It's just a Skype logo, and it says at Doom Live. She sent it to you on Skype, I think.
Oh, wait. Let me see.
And you can just stick that at the bottom of your screen so people can figure out how to reach you on Skype a little easier. Nearly forgot.
It's a good idea. I like that. Thank you. I gotta download all the stuff Anne sent me. She's great. I'm gonna pull this. I'm downloading this right now. I'm gonna pull this up. All right. Thank you so much, Charlie, for the heads up.
Yep. Merry Gamus, everybody.
Take care. All right. Let's go to the next call. For people, there's a few people trying to call in for the first time. This is how it goes, basically. I answer the calls as they come in. Okay? So what you got to do is you got to try to call as soon as I hang up on the previous caller. Whoa, that's really big, but I'll make it smaller. There you go. Maybe I should put it up here actually, or down here. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
What's going on?
Oh, Hansi. Can I pull you up on the screen?
Go ahead, man.
How you doing? What would you like to talk about?
What's going on, dude? I'm glad that you mentioned the Ben Shapiro shit because I don't listen. I know everyone likes to harp on oh well he let the loud part out accidentally. I don't think it's accidental. I just think that a point now where they have enough backing and enough social clout and enough convinced people where they can now kind of admit, you know what I mean? Because we're gonna waste our time going, oh look, man, they're hypocrites. But they don't. At this point, they don't give a shit if they're hypocrites, bro. These people are the worst, and I don't know. I just think that for example, I guarantee you, this movie that they're doing is because some of these guys are closeted right wingers, and no one likes to dress in drag more than closeted right wingers. You know what I mean? I'm not judging it. Obviously, I'm just saying that these guys self project so fucking much, and yet you know what I mean? They pretend I don't know. I just feel like everything is being normalized. Where even by talking about it, it's advertising it. You know what I mean? It's they still win even if we're dunking on it. You know what I mean? Jordan Peterson can crawl like a tarantula in one of his music videos, and we're still gonna be talking about it nonstop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't know if I agree with you though. I don't know if they. I mean, I don't think they think they're. I mean, it's possible that's part of it, though. It's possible that they think, oh, we already got them in. We could say whatever, and it's not going to hurt us.
I don't think
I really don't think, based on that conversation, I really don't think he realized what he said at first.
Matt, see, this is why this is why the left needs a wild card like me, bro. Because I'm telling you, guys are always playing the naive baby faces, bro. You're Sting and you're letting Ric Flair.
No, I don't think he's being a baby face. I think he led.
No, he's a heel. You guys are being fooled by the heels, bro. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right, maybe. I mean, I don't think he's like, oh no, what did I say? But he wasn't in that. He was in a different mode. He didn't mean to say it that way, for sure. I think.
Well, look at this, all right? I don't know if you'd agree with this one. I don't know if you'd agree with this one. This whole storyline with advertisers fleeing, these things never really go anywhere in the long run, and it just becomes discourse. So I feel like the discourse is advertising for the companies while they pretend oh, we're fleeing the fucking thing, whatever. But we're talking about GTA. We're talking about Apple, Disney. We're talking about the nonstop.
Oh, for them, yeah, I'm sure they think of that. There's definitely that calculation, I'm sure too. It's definitely not good for Twitter though. This is definitely not what they want.
I mean, I think Twitter is in the middle of imploding essentially. You know what I mean? That's how I fucking.
It's possible. I mean, I can't. I don't like to prognosticate about when Twitter's going to go down or if it's going to go down. I've said from the very beginning that it's very clear to me that if Twitter goes that route, it's going to be more like MySpace than any of the doomsday scenarios that people are putting out there. It's going to be just slowly sputter out until it becomes less and less relevant to more and more people, to the point where it's just there and not really active anymore. And it took MySpace years after News Corp bought it for that to happen. So,
that was around what, 2011 or so?
No, it was much earlier. This was 2007, 2008, 2009 maybe.
No, but I don't know. When did MySpace officially? Because again, I used to write blogs on MySpace, and then people told me around 2010 that no one's going on MySpace anymore. So
News Corp buys MySpace in July 2005, and in June 2006, almost a year later, it surpasses Yahoo and Google to become the most visited website in the U.S. So that first year, it actually grew big time under News Corp. But then it peaked in April 2008. And then Facebook started taking its users. And News Corp didn't know how to deal with it, and MySpace couldn't compete, and it sputtered out. It was very quick too.
As soon as I was using...
by 2009, Facebook surpassed MySpace in unique U.S. visitors. So it took 4 years, less than 4 years, for News Corp to drop the ball.
Okay. I think once Twitter and Facebook became my main things, I would post blogs there, but then I had to find I wasn't like an expert on where to post blogs, so I started posting on Tumblr. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, right?
Hey, Tumblr still exists, so you did it better than MySpace.
No, here's the thing with Tumblr though. They're making a comeback in this regard. I was posting blogs again, 'cause I haven't posted blogs in a long time. And earlier this summer, I started posting blogs again. And I noticed there's a live feature. So, like, now there's a bunch of, like, women, like, sex workers, I guess, who are, I mean, a lot of them are. Like, you know what I mean? Like some will pretend they're playing, like, they're doing crafts. And I'm like, oh, this person's kind of cool. Like, she's doing crafts. And I look at her page, and it's all thirst lust. And I give her props, but like, I made like a good amount of friends on. Again, I don't know what their political beliefs are. I don't ask because they stay away from politics. You see, like, most of them are potheads, and some of them are just sex workers and all that kind of stuff. So I interact with a lot of them, but like, their live feature is pretty good, man. Like, it's a live ass community. I didn't think there'd be that many people, but there's a lot of cool people on Tumblr.
I'm sure there is. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. Like, another possibility, and I think this is the current direction Twitter's headed in. But the thing is that Twitter has an extra issue here, and that's the money Elon Musk bought it for and what he owes to his investors. Twitter could easily become a Tumblr in the sense that, it winds down, but it's still healthy enough to still make money, to exist. It just serves a specific niche audience. Maybe like, how Tumblr's big with the art crowd or, the adult entertainment crowd. Twitter, maybe like it finds its niche in sports or news media. Like, I mean, that's currently what Twitter's mainly for anyway, but like it even further like niches down and sheds like anyone sort of outside those interests or whatever. Like real-time sports talk or real-time news discussion. But the added thing here is that Elon owes a lot of money, billions of dollars, multiple billions of dollars, and it can't just do that. Like there would be a point where they would have to sell to recoup something, or replace Elon. Like they could pull him. It's their investment. They could certainly, I'm assuming, say we don't trust you leading our investment. So that's the added that's the added issue here. Because I saw someone say like, oh, Twitter's way bigger than MySpace ever was. Yeah, it definitely is. But News Corp only spent but still to them, News Corp spent like $500 million on MySpace. Is a News Corp, owner of Fox News and Rupert Murdoch's conglomerate, and they bought it outright. If it failed, it failed. They sold it for a fire sale to recoup some of their money, but it was they didn't have, those investors looking for their money back like Elon does.
How much do you think they paid Dane Cook in MySpace? Because again, that was a big. Honestly, back then I used to buy them. Like, oh my god, they discovered Dane Cook on MySpace. Like now looking back, that was like the biggest industry plant level thing I ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could blow up like Dane Cook if you stay on MySpace. And I'm sitting there messaging all these fake celebrities, giving them like a sob story about like how I should make a connection and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. Yeah, what the call? I used to blow up on MySpace a little bit because of the Stern Show.
Oh,
But you know,
look at Hansi over here. You know, I used to blow up on MySpace myself.
well, yeah, I used to get, dude, dude, do you, do you, hold on a second, do you watch Hawaii 5-0, the new version?
No.
Okay.
Never watched any version, actually.
Okay, so yeah, no, me neither. But I guess no, because somebody told me, somebody who used to do a rap like a super fan roundtable for the Stern Show, he told me that the guy, like one of the guys that makes Hawaii 5-0, they based one of their characters on me, like loosely, like a conspiracy theorist who helps the cops solve the mysteries. Like, you know what I mean? Did you ever watch Lost?
I did not, actually.
Okay, no, okay. Well, it's played by that fat guy on Lost, Harley, whatever. So yeah, I had no idea that like certain dude, it blows my mind how like at one point like it was a normal thing where like celebrities would be asking about me, and now it's like nobody knows I exist now. Like, you know what I mean? Like once in a while I'll call in here and be like, hey, did Hansy call to Matt Binder's show? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is that Hansy from the Stern Show? Like, it's amazing. I feel more at peace being irrelevant in some sense, even though, well, because I'm not required to be a hot take guy. For a while, I was like one of the main villains on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, I would always have to have a controversial take, and then people have to shut me down and all that kind of shit. And then like and now that's become like the norm on social media now, where somebody is like a villain all the time and shit. But I was gonna say something. I don't know how long in 2024. This might be, like, like 2024 comes along. I don't know how long I'm gonna be around because, and this is like a hard fucking thing that I had to like.
What? Wait, what? Are you what?
Well, no, because like, okay, here's the thing, right? I have like massive depression, and it's
Stop it! What are you doing, man? What are you trying to tell me?
No. I'm saying because it's becoming legal in Canada to get a consultation. You know what I mean? And I feel like there is more behind our lives. I think once you're gone, you cross over to another world. And I do think, like, I'm not lying. I have been contemplating like legalized like assisted suicide a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a thing like too, like it's not like a morbid, like I know it sounds morbid, but I think because the world's going into a more fundamentalist world, bro, and I don't see any happiness, I'm not going to be a good fucking guy to bow down to the fascism, you know what I mean? And I need an out plan right away. I just think everyone's going to get more corrupted, and then I feel like I'm the only asshole that's going to be left not being corrupted. And, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't, you know what I mean? Like, I have been contemplating, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how long I'm gonna be around for. You know what I mean?
Stop it, Hansi! Stop this instant, my friend. You're gonna be You're gonna look forward to calling into the show every Tuesday, and I'm gonna look forward to taking your calls. And you're going to ask me wrestling questions, and we're gonna have wrestling discussions. So stop it this instant, my friend. You stop this talk.
No. I'll stop. Cause I don't want. The thing is,
no, I don't just mean stop the talk. I mean, you're not going to do whatever you think you're going to. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine. I'm gonna look forward to these discussions every week.
Now I'm feeling forced to live now. You know what I mean? Like, why are you doing
Hey,
this?
we still have to do our episode because I want you on as an actual guest sometime in the new year. We got to do that episode about your an in-depth where you're the actual guest, which it's gonna help people too, where you're the guest and you walk through how your sort of political journey from being this Howard Stern Rat Pack edgelord type. That was sort of getting funneled into the right wing that came out the other side. You need to tell that story, man. It's an important story to tell, and we've had small discussion about it, but we need to go in depth. We need to really break down things, and I want you on as a guest in the main show.
No, okay, okay, I'll probably I'll live long enough to. The thing is, bro, it's been on. I probably I won't try to bring it up. It just sometimes like when I'm having like, especially I think it's because when I'm really depressed, really, like during the winter time, because there's no like
man, winter does this to people. Just look forward to it. It goes by so fast. It goes by so fast. It'll be done before you know it.
No, it's not only that, but it's like there's also like, for example, like because I feel like I like, for example, I didn't like go over to the next, like for example, I missed my calling to go to the next side, and I feel like
I meant whack pack. I'm sorry, did I say rat pack? I meant whack pack. My bad. I usually say whack pack. I'm tired.
Okay, like see, this is one of my theories that you might not you might not be rock with, whatever, but it's like it feels like people like myself who get like entangled in that world become a guinea pig, where like the reality show type of people, like the Howard Stern show, they can put people in your life that like literally treat you and use you as a guinea pig. And it feels like over the last 10 years, I've been isolated from everybody. And it's like they're a part
how's the comedy stuff doing? You were going out doing stand up. How's that going?
I've been doing it. I did it last week, and I don't know if you know a comedian named Ben Miner. He's a Canadian comedian. He came down to talk during the show that I was on, basically about like the life in comedy. He's been doing it for 25 years, and then a lot of people recognize me from the Stern show, so he gave me props, and his friends were there watching. And they saw me perform, and they're like, "Yeah, man, keep doing it. You're really good at this." Like,
dude, see, what the hell are you talking about then? Why are you saying these things when you got literal? I'm not familiar with him, but you said he's a name in Canada. You got a dude who's a name there saying, and you just started doing this again, saying, "Dude, you got something going here. You should be thinking every day about your set, your what is it? Tight 5? Is that what it is? Tight 10? What is it? I can't remember.
Tight what? What do you mean tight 10?
That's like the saying, like when you have like a really like strong.
Oh, tight 5. Yeah. No. Yeah. Tight 5. Yeah, for like if you have a good 5-minute set, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there you go, man. And this is what you should think about every day, and you should be getting out there at least every week doing this. And before you know it, people are gonna be scrolling through Netflix, and oh look, Hansi's comedy special.
Listen, I want to apologize to you and your viewers for even putting it. It just like, dude, it's been in my head, and like and see.
Well, listen, if it helped you to get it out and hear people say that you're someone we truly enjoy hearing from and seeing every week, then I'm glad you did it. Because
it's like, this is what happens when you're mentally ill, right? It's like when you're alone with your thoughts, it's like it's like a playlist of all the diss songs of like everyone in your past that's like dissed you, and then in your head you're like in the future and you're coming up with your own diss songs to diss everyone that's ever made your life a living hell, essentially. So that goes on loop in my head all the time, like, you know what I mean? And then so it takes over me, and then sometimes I'm like the thing is, like, everyone like, maybe because I don't view death as a bad thing. I think we just move on spiritually, and that's why I never think it's a bad thing. Like, you know what I mean? I don't judge people who go that route because, like, you know what I mean?
I look at it even different. I look at it differently. I don't think there is anything after. So my point of view has always been, we're here for such a short amount of time to begin with, like, just naturally. Why not stick it out? Why not stay as long as possible? Because there ain't nothing after. You're not coming back, and there's nothing after.
How do you know that though? How do you know that?
I know. That's how I look at it. I'm gonna be here for as long as I possibly can. They're gonna have to kill me, because eventually I won't die. I will refuse to die.
but aren't you like scared about like the future of like where this is all going, bro.
Hey, whatever. Where I'm here for it. You know what I mean. I'm here to see where it goes. I'm here to take part in it. I'm here to be in it. Because once it's done, once it's done, that's it. Like even through like, and listen, I get people. You know, I understand there are people who are going through tremendous, maybe physical pain or something's wrong, and they choose to, through official means, end of life care and things like that. I totally understand and that's their choice, of course. But for me personally, if you are physically healthy, and everyone obviously has different mental issues to deal with, but if you could stick it out for as long as possible, just do it, because this short ride is over before you know it, and it's not worth it's not worth cutting it short. Just see it out, and then we all peace out naturally eventually.
But listen, fine, we can agree on that to some extent. But are you in agreement with me that you feel more suicidal when you hear those Ozempic commercials?
No, I've never felt suicidal in my. I've been very lucky. I've never felt
No, no, no.
suicidal in my life.
I was making a stupid joke. I was making a joke about Ozempic commercials.
I
Those
don't know those commercials.
those diabetes, dude. I can't
Are you talking about the one where the guy goes, diabetes? Is that one?
No. It's like Ozempic.
I haven't seen those.
It's that one where it's like a overly happy one. I can't shake this commercial. It's either that or the fucking stupid Whopper commercial. Whopper Junior. Those two commercials are already making me suicidal already, bro. I don't know, man. I'm losing my mind here.
I've not seen those commercials, but it sounds like you should stop watching them.
All right, yo, bro.
Maybe the problem is that you have a second computer screen that you just play that commercial on repeat, and that's why you feel down in the dumps. Maybe you should shut it off. Stop watching that commercial over and over and over again.
All right, no, that's cool, bro. I took up too much time already. The other callers calling in.
No, dude. I always love when you call in, truthfully, and just hang in there. This what's the phrase? This too shall pass. There's always we go through. I will say I do. End of the year always gets me sort of down in the dumps. I really enjoy like the holiday season too. Like I really like Christmas time and stuff, but. This is the end of the year stuff, the closing out of the year. That always sorts of gets me down in the dumps. Not suicidal, but down. I feel, sort of feeling down sometimes. It's just how it is. It's just seasonal feelings. So just stick it out, man.
I used to feel good during this time. When I was a little kid, my mother used to buy me presents to like not make me feel left out because other people were celebrating Christmas, and I didn't know I was a Muslim because I was light skinned. I never asked. So when I asked my Muslim friends, I'm like, "Do you celebrate Christmas?" And he's like, "No, I'm Muslim." He goes, "And so are you. Why do you celebrate it?" And I got so scared. I ran to my mom, like, "Am I Muslim?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't celebrate Christmas anymore." It's like, "Okay, fine. No, you're not Muslim, whatever." I used to like.
Oh, I think the holidays you could celebrate whatever you'd like. You could celebrate Christmas. You could celebrate it all. It's not, to me. It's not even religious anymore. It never was for me to begin with. I mean.
Me either, man. All right, yo, listen, bro. I held you up long enough. Thank you for taking my call, and thank you for talking me off my ledge, bro. I appreciate it, man. Sorry for like.
I wish you could step back from that ledge, my friend. I could understand. There you go, Hunter. You got me singing for you. There you go. Okay.
Peace out, man.
Take care. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from? You are on the air. First time caller, it seems. What's your name? Where you calling from? You just got to check your sound settings, maybe. Make sure you're using the right mic. I'll give you a second to quickly try to figure that out. Maybe you're on mute. I don't hear you. This happens sometimes. Don't worry. No need to fret. We'll get this figured out. If it takes a little while, we'll just hang up and you'll call back in so I can take another call right after you figure it out. But I will take your call. Let's see. All right. What we'll do is look at your settings, try to figure it out, call back in. I'll take another call, and then I'll come back to you, okay? Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, hello. Is this Matt Binder, the fucking commie?
Oh, is this Javier?
It is I, Javier Milei, the excremency, the Argentinian president.
Wow, is this what you sound like? I guess I've watched clips of you, but this is extra
Yes,
evil
you're
sounding.
a communist. You hate my beloved Austrian economist.
How you doing? How's
I want to say that I'm also feeling depressed. I
Oh,
just
you
broke
are?
up with the love of my life, Macri. I had to go instead with those fucking Peronistas. But actually, they're neoliberal, of course.
So what's
Who knew that? Who knew that instead of having no fucking government, we could have an incompetent government instead?
So Malay, right? Malay or Malay?
Miche.
Miche?
Yes, I'm Argentinian, you commie bastard. You zurdo, boludo.
Miche, let me ask you this. What how does it feel with the upset victory?
Well, I always knew I was going to win. My Conan told me in my dreams that I was destined for greatness. You know, like the son of Sam. My dog talks to me,
Really?
and I was prepared for great things. Yes, I have no problem with reality. I recreate my own reality.
That's interesting.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem with Hansi. He needs to create his reality.
Michelle, someone just pointed out something in the chat. Can you try? Would you mind trying something for me? Can you just say, "For me to poop on"?
For making weak gun?
For me to poop on.
Poop. We can't say that. That's like what it's called. Like maybe bad lefty can help out.
Okay.
It's like saying a purple burglar alarm.
All right. Ruined my fun, Javier. I'm gonna call you Javier. All right. So
no, only my friends can tell me, can call me that. No fucking comics can call me that.
All right.
Only if you beg for forgiveness and say that Hayek and Milton Friedman were the greatest people to ever invented economics.
Never. You're not getting that from me.
Well, that's why you're a loser zurdo, and I'm the president of such a great country.
So when
I done ruining it.
What? Oh, you're admitting it. Interesting.
But of course, as Nietzsche said, we must destroy in order to build.
Oh, there you go. Very, very clever. You often sound very angry. Are you angry right now? Even though you just won, you should be happy.
No, I'm not angry. I'm passionate. This is the essence of being Argentinian, even if I prefer to be an American.
Well, Javier, it was a pleasure hearing from you. I really appreciate you calling in. Is there anything you wanted to say before we?
Yes, I want to promote my own line of leopard print underwear that I will sell. You know,
really?
Because I'm a very
leopard print underwear.
I'm a very sexy person. You need to be sexy in order to be president in this stupid fucking country.
Okay. Wow. Well, I appreciate you calling in, and be sure to call in again when you become when do you get inaugurated? When is your inauguration?
Not soon enough, unfortunately.
Oh. Okay. Oh, he hung up on me. Oh my God, that was great. That was good. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, and hey, I'm calling from Northern Ontario, Canada.
Hey, and what's your name again?
Zibinari.
Hey, I just see your camera came on. Can I pull your video feed up on the screen?
By all means, you're more than welcome, yeah.
Cool. So let me just make sure I say it right. Zevinari?
Yep, Zibinari.
Perfect. Zevinari, thanks for calling in. First time.
It's
What
a
would you
pleasure,
talk
yeah.
about?
A long-time watcher, long-time fan of Leftist Mafia. And yeah, just been like loving you guys from the background, lurking a bit, typing in chats, but absolutely loving all your content. Forgive the kids in the background. You may hear them occasionally.
I got kids of my own. I totally get it. It's a welcome noise. Happy children in the background. Well, hopefully happy children in the background.
Indeed. I
So
go
what
in
did you
today
talk
with a bit of
about?
a change of tone. I'd like to discuss a bit about climate change, if you're open and willing.
Sure.
It's something I am particularly passionate about, something that I have stayed as up to date as possible with, in the most in-depth scientific terms as well.
Oh, so you could probably
I'm not a
school
climate
me.
scientist. I am not by any means formally educated, but I thoroughly enjoy the academic debate around climate change. It has been both extremely depressing. Speaking of like seasonal affective disorder and depressing, it has been kind of an undercurrent, certainly in my life. And I know many of the other leftists and activists I know, it has been an undercurrent in our mental health for some time. And it is very, very hard, I know, to envision the kind of change I know we need to see systemically and worldwide to have hope, to really, sustain hope. But I still strongly and firmly believe, even with the reality facing us down, scientifically determined, we have crossed, of course, 6 of 9 tipping points at this point, climate tipping points, which are going to bring on like various different cycles, and we're kind of trapped in these feedback loops now that we can only hope to technologically maybe find magical solutions to get our ways out of. But otherwise, we're pretty locked in at this point to a certain like I live sustainably off grid, deep in the woods with my family. So we live well off grid. 50% of our food and energy is developed off the land that we subsist on. We still obviously interact quite a great bit with society. We still get groceries. We still use gasoline. This is just part of life. We're not anarcho-primitivists. But we see like firsthand the kind of effect that changing biodiversity has, for example, or the changing weather patterns have on things like gardening and permaculture. And yeah, I just think that like we need to continue getting more and more realistic about the kinds of mutual aid movements and grassroots movements, like the community within chat that is kind of like standing up and reaching out to hands to kind of like offer a bit of mental help or offer a bit of, conversational help. We need to be reaching out as well in our communities to strengthen our bonds in terms of being able to offer, a bit of food here or a bit of a shelter there, or like these kinds of things. And so that's where, when it comes to our the left's despair on climate change, I think we need look no further than our bonds with each other for the hope that we need to subsist into the future. And the strengthening of those bonds, whether it's online or locally, will kind of be our salvation. So that's what I hope to work towards and share.
I love hearing this. This is very. I mean, obviously, it's at this point, unfortunately, aspirational, but it sounds great. Let me ask you more. Actually, I mean, you sort of just threw in that you just live off the grid and just moved on, and I feel like we gotta rewind and go back to that.
Please,
so is this something that you purposely set out to do as you learned more about climate change, or is this something that is this the lifestyle you were already living and it just so happens to overlap with what you've learned about climate change?
It is something that like I grew up as like a cub and a scout and had a connection with nature, like I was camping many times a year. And
but
since
you didn't
a young age,
grow up like on a farm with your family or something?
Certainly not. No, I am actually, while our family is of meager means and we live subsistently, I come from old money, and like my father was the vice president of IBM.
What? Whoa!
So there's this whole like layered history, if you want to get into, of how I understand Wall Street capitalism, because I was very much raised within the like annals and halls of billionaires. But that have turned against it, refused all of their kind of things, like leveraged what little I could of my privilege to do activism and to kind of push towards intentional community and smaller community kind of things.
Damn, did your dad invent the computer?
No, but so that he did invent one of the now the largest bank in Canada, TD Canada Trust. They were merged at his idea. Yeah.
It's probably slightly different, but my bank is the TD Bank that's in here in the U.S.
In the U.S., that is the same bank. It is actually, even though it has distinct differences between. Yeah, it's honestly not something I'm proud of. Like that understanding and seeing him coming home and being proud about, firing 2,500 people because he was able to replace them with computers and effectively like
What?
wipe out
Whoa! What's
their
going on?
jobs.
I feel like
And like that
every
kind of
new bit of
thing,
information you give me is just like
this entire this build up is what taught me. Like I became an anti-capitalist because my parents were the best example of what not to do. They were the example of money is not happiness, because here's all the money in the world and absolute misery, and absolute no level of accountability, no level of I got to see all the flaws of the system.
Do you still have a
very
relationship with them?
No, I do not.
Really?
I haven't for some very long time. Yeah, I haven't spoken
purposefully,
much with
or just this the way the cookies crumbled.
Yeah, no, very purposefully. There was a time like my mom passed away probably about 8 years ago now, very suddenly when she was 59. And my father lives on to this day, whom I do not speak to. But my mom I started speaking to again for just a couple of years before she died. So we managed to mend some of our relationship, but only because she was, old enough to also become wise enough that she was self-aware in the not only abuse that she had for us as children, but also the kind of folly of capitalism. Like we were able to have conversations where she was like, "Oh yeah, no, I kind of see your point," kind of thing. And that's the only reason we were able to actually even have dialogue towards the end, was because it was no longer in bad faith. I can't have a good faith dialogue with my father. He's a slimy salesman, and there is no such thing as good faith.
Based on his background, you probably mend that relationship before it's too late.
No, I couldn't care less. No, this is like I haven't even worked like a normal job for 7 years now, because we're able to live so self-subsistently that I'm an artist, I'm able to sell commission work, that kind of thing, and we sell maple syrup that we make on the homestead to get by. But effectively, my family turned me hardcore anti-capitalist, and from that understanding of if I was to build a morality, what would it be based on? Well, do no harm. Okay, well, human beings, as a result of our being living beings, the consumptive nature of our existence, we will do harm. We will, till land, we will eat crops, we will displace animals, we will create habitats that are better for us than for others. We are inherently going to consume. So then what is the most important moral compass for me? It is to mitigate and to remediate the harm that is caused on Mother Nature through my existence. So if I can, in gratitude of what I have been able to consume through my living in my life, back to Mother Earth by either saving ecosystems or preserving ecology, or through even just being more self-subsistent by kind of mitigating some of those consequences of my wider actions by eating more locally or growing more locally, that all works in towards hopefully one day, even though I've been working at it now on this land for 7 years, we're not at a point where I feel like we are yet living regeneratively. And it is a reminder for people that even working really hard at these goals, to become self-subsistent, even putting in the 40 to 100 hours a week of work that it takes to get it done, it takes 10 years to establish a sustainable homestead. So if this is something that any one of your audience out there is wanting to possibly do, don't leave it till you're retiring to do that. Get on it and go now, even if it means sacrificing some of the standards of living you might be used to, because it is worthwhile to get a head start on this project while we still have the resources easily accessible within the old society to leverage against building some sort of new society, right? And that's the other. We want to throw the bathwater out with the baby out with the bathwater with a lot of anarchists and a lot of hardcore leftists. I'm an anarcho-socialist, so I'm pretty far and hard left. Not quite an anarcho-syndicalist, although very close. And effectively, I think that we need to be honest with ourselves about how dependent we've become on the level of organization and globalization that makes our lives comfortable. And if we can find ways to both have community and communicate to organize those kinds of what we're dependent on, whether it's healthcare, welfare, or dental care, or whatever, to more local means and to more self-provided means, then we will be more successful, right? As a leftist movement, because part of like I've been an activist in many different communities. I've lived in anarchist empowerment centers and in 7 different intentional communities. So I've got a lot of different experience with a lot of different leftists in Canada and Ontario specifically.
You live
and one of the
the
biggest things.
you live the you know just talk the talk. You walk the walk.
This is it, exactly. Like I've been legal representation for many activist cases for several different occupations of land against.
You've got a legal background. You're a lawyer.
I studied law for 4 years, though again, no formal legal background. I have represented 6 different court cases and won every one.
Wait, what?
So
but you're not a lawyer?
But I'm not a lawyer. I haven't crossed the bar.
So wait, so how do you?
I believe strongly in self-education. One of my lifelong
so how are you?
goals.
How are you doing cases then?
Well, you can just like anybody can self-represent in court in any group.
Because you're part of the case. You're part of the case. You're part of
exactly.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. That I know you could do that. I thought you meant like people were retaining your services.
No.
Yeah. I was like, how is
I'm
that
not getting
possible?
paid for any of this. I'm doing this for activism. I studied.
No, I'm not even saying like you could be doing a pro bono even, but you still need your legal your license and everything.
Yeah, no, like this was so like for example the Guelph Handling Creek project, which is I think back in 2010 now, was one where an injunction got served first against the protesters, but we had pre-served papers for an injunction against them, and as a result of us winning our injunction, their injunction was null and void. And even though the protesters' occupation had to end, that land, which was a 500-year-old, 500-acre old growth forest, was then delayed in its development for several years afterwards for the investigation of an environmentally sensitive species, a special lizard that was there.
I like
lizards.
What
I was trying to get at is that my belief in self-subsistence and this kind of lifestyle comes from an understanding of necessity, where like I'm not a farmer. I don't necessarily didn't want to live growing my own food. I'm more of what I would see as like an intellectual or a scientist kind of an individual. But I feel like we, by necessity on the left, have to take hand of more of our independence and self-subsistence in this way, because what I saw within the movement of activists and what I saw within a lot of like big lefties that were making big moves was that the sheer instability of like rent and like keeping a similar job and being able to like hold down the stability of life to pay the bills and get by was enough to disrupt whole movements and disrupt the whole, like we are just like literally fighting capitalism, eating away at every little bit of the roots that we try to establish in any kind of city infrastructure, it seems. So to have the ability to have some level or even of meager self-subsistence, even through community shared agriculture in cities or urban agriculture, guerrilla gardening, all these different kind of things. We can even establish waste diversion systems that take food waste and empower communities to have more stable roots as a result of having consistent like food that would otherwise be wasted diverted to these programs that then distribute it to the people in need, which is a big thing I've also been a part of in the past. I think that the establishment of whether it's intentional communities, collectives, cooperatives, housing cooperatives, and communes is incredibly important to the left and its movement, so that we don't keep dealing with this sense of being uprooted constantly, where we are just facing, the slog of capitalism, where it doesn't let anyone seem to grow roots and take advantage of the same kind of, like, once you've planted roots, you can kind of build in that space and on that stability far larger and wider and go far further as a result, and I see so much potential for that if we were able to establish ourselves with a base, but where like the extreme left kind of lacks this unity of organization is because we're literally being just uprooted by the capitalists, pulled up by our roots because of difficult conditions living. Quite simply.
Yeah, it's sort of like you pretty much laid it out that it's something that require to the level you're doing it, obviously something that requires time and effort to get to that point, and not everyone can put that time and effort in. Not everyone, I guess, comes from the VP of IB.
and this is what I mean when I talk about leveraging, privilege for those who are able.
No, I know I think it's really important that like what you've been talking about, because it really shows that like, I mean, this is sort of the whole thing, right? Like, like we often, like, even at the most like basic level, what do? We society likes to criticize how poor people's or people who are impoverished or people in poverty, how their buying and eating habits. But the fact of the matter is, they actually do eat cheap and quick because it's the most efficient for the lifestyle and the monetary financial situation they have. And
Yeah.
it's not the most healthiest, but it's unfortunately the way that goes. And you've laid out a much more extreme but analogous situation where to live off the grid and be self-sustaining, it's a very expensive endeavor to get to the point where it actually works. And 10 years, you said it takes at least.
Yeah. 10 years of investment. Just imagine 10 years being able to only work part-time because you have to work at least part-time on survival, right? And like, I also think that part of it though is like the establishment of spaces like the one I'm trying to create here, an intentional community of sorts where we have 5-acre lots available to people for, I think currently with all the everything we're offering them for $3,600 down. No advertising, I'm not giving any links, but we're offering like 5-acre lots for $3,600 down and $200 a month is the current terms for 5 years. So it's extremely accessible access to land is the whole idea. I would give lots for free to people who are motivated and serious and interested in actually, sustainably homesteading and who had leftist ideals already.
I could never do it. I don't got it in me. I don't.
It's a hard life. It is an extremely hard life, and I will not sugarcoat it in any way. But I
So-
also do understand, having participated in these other intentional communities, that those who kind of come first and are willing to establish it can offer easier time to those that come afterwards. And my hope here is to one day establish a way in which we can, maybe we'll build a second house, move out of the first house, but then be able to sell the first house as a finished, sustainable unit for vastly less than what most people are paying for rent for a year in a place, and offer shelter to someone else in need, kind of thing. And in this way, I'm not only proactively like creating shelter and creating spaces for people, but also hopefully creating that base that can maybe perhaps be leadership in some kind of revolutionary society. For example, like, I know that I may come from money, but our entire investment here, both in the building of our earthship and in the land itself, is only about $40,000. Which, I say only, it is a lot of money. There's no two ways about it.
Where are you
But in
located
relative
again?
terms, Northern Ontario in
Okay.
Canada. But many people, when they're trying to prepare for the transition off grid, think, oh well, I have to save up $500,000. That's how much it costs to build a home, right? And it's like, well, not really. There are, especially natural methods and more sustainable methods. And even thinking like, when you have to provide all and make all of the power that you're using for everything, maybe you make different choices in what you use power for. And instead of using 16 to 30 kilowatt hours a day, you only use a kilowatt or 2 hours a day. And it's those kinds of consumptive choices that come as well from the consequence of needing to deal with it yourself, that I think is also the necessity of this kind of, even if you're not like, even before I lived off grid in the woods, I feel like I was living off grid in the city. I was living off of diverted food waste. I was living in, communal housing or communal shelters, or in like anarchist community centers. And I was living in a way which aimed to consume as little and support as little of what I disagreed with as possible. In some cases, like verging on or bordering on anarcho-primitivism, which again is not for everybody by any means and is not accessible or sustainable. But which, like, I think we need to always realize that there's always options, and that we don't need to make the radical everything shift. We just need to make tiny little steps further towards the goal of sustainability. And when it comes to, like, again, just like, I feel like this is necessity. Like, I came to this as a result of understanding that any anti-capitalist project, any project that hopes humanity will survive, has to outlast the fall of capitalism, which we are right now experiencing. It's an accelerated, fall as a result of, well, we always knew it had an expiry date. A linear consumptive system can only last so long on a planet that demands cycles. And though we don't know when the expiry date is, we know it'll get more and more expensive to do anything like we're doing it right now as we get closer to that expiry date. And so the way in which we see people priced out of living, it's not just out of living and out of life itself, it's out of the type of lifestyles we've become accustomed to, the type of comforts and conveniences we've become accustomed to. And it will take a reevaluation wholesale of our material comforts effectively in order to actually face down the issue of climate change and capitalism itself.
Well, this was what a call. I don't know what to say. You not only represented your knowledge about climate change and what you're doing about it, but you also surprised me at every turn with your own personal story.
Oh, tip of the iceberg, Matt. I'd love to share more someday. I'll have to call in again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Real
Please call
pleasure.
back in. Yeah, I gotta. It's important to keep the call. I usually go really long with calls, but I try to also realize there's a point where like we gotta take it to another conversation because otherwise we're gonna lose people. So thanks for
Of course, keep moving.
Thanks for calling. This was great, and please do call back in again. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. It was nice to proper meet you, Matt.
Take care. Peace.
Catch you around.
What a story. This is fascinating. I'll take let's see. I'll take one more call so we round this out at midnight my time. Let's see. All right. Here we go. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from? Oh, wait. Hold on. I can't hear you.
Oh, whoops. I was just
there we go.
Let me mute you and you. Oh, my cat ran away. Let me mute you in your other tab. I was saying.
Can I put you up on the screen?
Argonian Bob, aka Lauren. I've called in before.
Yep. Can you hear me?
See here. Quite a bit of like wild conversations have happened since one I wanted to call in about.
You can't hear me, can you?
You went out for like a second.
Oh, there we go. Can I pull you up on the screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Nice to talk with you again. Welcome back. Yeah, this was great calls this show.
Yeah. There's a couple directions I wanted to go. I mean, especially after that Hans call, I just kind of want to say, Hansi, if you're still in the chat, like, look at it, if you can, as you're having a flare-up. You're having a flare-up with an illness. And try to treat it as such. If you can afford like some kind of therapy, I would suggest go for that. I mean, not everyone necessarily, has to have a disorder to see a therapist. You know what I mean? If you have the means to, I would recommend it, because the way I see it, you're awesome, Hans. You're not in a situation that's ideal. You can change this. You just need to be Hans in a different situation, basically. But that aside, I actually wanted to point out there was actually really good news today. There is, and it is yeah, right? Because of like a lot of indigenous advocates, they were able to tear down like 4 dams, and it's like the largest dam removal in U.S. history. Like this what do you call it? A permit? This contract expired, and essentially, I guess kind of the thing that sucks is how once again capitalism is weaved through it. Like, one of the reasons why it was easier for the indigenous advocates to convince the board was because in order to renew their contract, they would have to pay money to do different things up to code that were more environmentally friendly. And so because there was that sort of like monetary reason, basically they crunched the numbers and they're like, okay, tearing down the dams in this case is more affordable for us. But it was like making the salmon, like it was fucking over the salmon's population. And there's like indigenous people that live there that their salmon is like, that's their food for the year.
Right.
Like, the salmon are so huge that I read it's only like you can catch like 30 or 40 salmon and feed their family for a year. Yeah. So losing this like
It's a lot of
area,
salmon.
yeah, yeah. I'm surprised they don't get sick of it, but yeah, and like the way that I guess like the dams they like make the water really what's it called? Placid and like warm and that like fucks them over. But yeah, good news today. Good news. Sometimes there's the good stuff. You know, it's weaved in between things like like Purdue lawsuit or obviously like the Gaza situation or like was it the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the mines and all this. So I figured I'd say that sometimes there's some good in the world. Even if it seems hopeless, like sometimes the right amount of activism, you get to the right people, and it's what teeters them over the edge. You know, if there wasn't advocacy groups, who's to say that they wouldn't just go, fuck it, okay, more of the budget, let's rebuild it. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But yeah,
I'm glad you brought some good news because I haven't seen any good news. I'm glad there's some out there.
Oh, I have to dig for it because it's so like all the websites I like to look at. I mean, and I mean, obviously they're gonna do this, but a lot of the reporters are reporting on Gaza right now. Or, if you get some other stuff, it's like, election. It's like, okay, who wants to watch a circle jerk between a bunch of dudes and one woman go on about, I love Trump more than you, but simultaneously you should vote for me instead of Trump. And it's just like, okay, you're all talking about the dude that doesn't even need to show up, and we all know he's gonna win the primaries for the GOP. I mean, it's like not even a competition.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, I didn't even realize there was a Republican debate tomorrow. That's how out of the loop I am, even with like just neutral news, I guess you can say. Like,
Yeah.
take it or leave it, you know?
I'll tell you, I've seen the headlines that would talk about the debate, but I never clicked on it. I'm like, who gives a shit? So until
It's
earlier,
also-
I didn't even know it
Yeah,
was
it's also
tomorrow.
like why are we watching these debates with the runners up? Because we all know it's going to be Trump for the Republicans. Like, why even do it if Trump's not there?
Yeah, and I mean, chances are, even within that group of people, Republicans don't really vote on that. You know what I mean? And a lot of it is more vibes based. A lot of it is more like maybe they'll get whiff of this person is from a rural area. They'll understand me more, or but I don't know.
Right.
It's aesthetic.
Right.
Or single voting or single issue voting. I mean.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's with Trump. It is just basically the cult of personality.
Yeah. And at that point, it's a lot easier for them just to be like, I'll go with what I know.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, thanks for the call. Great call.
Yeah, no problem. I just figured I'd, bring
Give some good. Yeah, give us some hope. Have a great night. Thank you so much.
You too. Thanks for taking my call. Bye, everybody. Bye, Matt.
Bye.
Night.
All right, folks. That's the show. I know there's some other people who called in. I promise I'll take your calls next time. Definitely call in. Again, another day. All right, I'll take this one last call because this is another first-time caller, and I'm a sucker for first-time callers.
Hello.
Hey, can I pull you up on the screen?
My name is Brian Hernandez from PA.
Hey, Brian, can I pull your video up on the screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. Hey, Brian, what do we have to talk about?
I just wanted to ask you about Israel and my country of Cuba. So recently, in the UN, they try to vote to lift the embargo on Cuba. And one of the countries, of course, that joined the U.S. and all the U.S.'s allies to not lift the embargo was Israel.
Right.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to hear your thoughts on like what do you think about how Israel's behaving and treating.
Well, that's clearly. I mean, I don't even know what their position on Cuba would be. I don't, but it's clearly just a position of, oh, we're gonna vote with the U.S. because there are. We're not gonna. Why would we make them angry over Cuba? What the fuck do we care about Cuba? That's probably their, like, it's the same reason why, like, you get those random U.S. Those random islands voting for whatever lock and step U.S. is voting for. Like, why is like American Samoa voting whatever, or Samoa, excuse me, voting lock and step with the U.S. Everyone's because they don't. Why are they going to piss off the U.S. for something that doesn't affect them whatsoever? It makes no sense. They're going to vote in whatever is going to result in best case scenario for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and just the fact that like Israel's like blocking the entrance of UN representatives and like stopping people from leaving from different countries that criticize them. It's like, I don't know, like our government's just like so out of step right now. I'm like so disappointed.
Right. I mean, the idea that but with that being said, also the idea that Israel would be against the embargo or whatever. It's like, we all know Israel's very anti-blockade. So I mean,
true, yeah. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it's honestly though, it's more so to vote with what their biggest ally wants, but also secondary, if that wasn't the case, why would they?
Yeah, true. They're just there to like kind of do whatever the U.S. wants.
Right. I mean, the idea that we still have an embargo on Cuba is so fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So like fucking doesn't make any sense. That never made sense, but it makes even less sense in the year 2023.
Yeah, like during COVID, they couldn't import needles for vaccines. You know what I mean? Different things like that, like that, just medical aid, stuff like that. They're fucked. It's sad.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for the call. This was really a good question. It really made me really sort of funny in the same way, in a sense too.
Oh. Well, thank you.
Not your question, just the idea of, it's a good question, like I said, but the idea that Israel would be like thinking about Cuba is also very like maybe they should deal with their own quote unquote embargo on Gaza. It's way more than an embargo, unfortunately, sadly. Yeah.
Oh well, thank you for answering my call. And
definitely.
I thought you were really funny a few streams ago on the Leftist Mafia when you put on the Bernie.
That was.
And then
that was a good time. Yeah, I mean,
that was great. You're really funny.
I appreciate that. I don't know what's going on with him, man. It's disappointing as hell, but at least it resulted in some funny segments.
True. I love you guys. Well, have a good night, man. I
appreciate it. Definitely call back in again and have a great night.
I will. Thank you.
Bye. All right, folks. Oh, my headphones just died. What perfect timing. I'm going to close Skype because Skype is done. But I got to read some super chats. Oh, I missed this. No comment, chick. Thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. Over on Twitch, let me read the Twitch stuff first. Hold on one second. Let's see. Over on Twitch. Once again, thank you to Dylan Burns and No Comment Chick for the raids. Ponderosapine resubscribed for 1 month at tier 1. They've been subscribed for 23 months. You're 1 month short of 2 years straight of subscribing to my Twitch channel. I really appreciate that. Ponderosapine also adds a comment. No growth, typical. Socialism will never work. That's a comment related to me saying how my Patreon did not grow this year. It went in reverse for the first time. Appreciate it. Yes, I'm not a very good capitalist. Balthazar228 with a super chat. I can't wait for a trans guy to. Oh, let me move that. that call-in thing too, so no one gets the wrong idea. Balthazar228, I can't wait for a trans guy to wipe the men's gymnastics floor routines and see all the guys complain. I would be interested in seeing that too. Renee with few super chats here. I'll read them all in a row. By hostages, don't you mean the entirety of Gazans? Yeah. Anti-Semitism lost meaning after Corbyn's accusation? Well, I don't think it lost meaning, but you certainly see how it's weaponized, and it definitely was weaponized in that scenario. Renee also says, but Elon and Ian melted Sean can't shoot cops, talking about their whining over GTA. And the final super chat from Renee, caller, is your dad still sour at Golem? Oh, that was to the other, right. Well, we're not on the call with him anymore. Tokyo Hans with a super chat. Anthony Goldblum is an anagram for longhand lobotomy. Christian Strand with a super chat. Where do we follow Hansi aside from MySpace, obviously? Hansi, let us know your Twitter handle, your Threads handle, your Blue Sky handle, whatever you got, let us know. Let's go back to the super chats. There's still a few more. Christian Strom with another super chat. Same Hansi, I feel you. The Canadian dying assistance blows my mind. Kowalski with a super chat. We farmers misplaced all the food plan accordingly. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. We farmers misplaced all the food plan accordingly. Very funny. And Kowalski says, take calls on leftist mafia or innocent cows will get got. We still got to figure out how to do calls on leftist mafia. We got to do it. Excuse me. Oh my God. Because it's that time of the night. I'm tired. Yep. All right. So who are we rating on Twitch? I wish YouTube got the raid stuff in. I want to see this. Jen Sue says, just subscribe to your Patreon. I didn't get the email. What happened? Is the emails not working? Let's see. Oh, look at that. You just showed up. Yes. Jenny K, thank you so much for subscribing to my Patreon. I didn't get the email for some reason, but because Patreon, I don't know what's going on with Patreon lately. They stopped giving me notifications sometimes. The emails are sporadic in terms of when I get a new subscriber. It used to be whenever I got a new subscriber, I got the notification on my phone. I got the email. I don't know what's going on over there. They changed something. They redesigned it, and they broke some things, it seems. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Jenny. Really, really appreciate it. Again, your support, everyone's support, especially the patrons, because they make this show possible. But all your support is greatly appreciated. Who am I? So once again, patreon.com/MattBinder. All right, let's see. Who am I rating? Let's see who's on. All right, I see that Amy C3's on, Hamozy Goat, Ecoplex Media, who? Time for Tinfoil. Who should I raid? I'll do Time for Tinfoil. I haven't raided them in a while. So, folks, let me see what they're streaming right now, though, too, to make sure that it's a sensible raid in terms of stuff. My Thursday, I'll see you on Majority Report. I will see you on Leftist Mafia. And with all that said, I will see you all next time on Doomed. Have a good night, everybody. Oh, and don't forget, go to missinfo.com, MISINFO, missinfo.com. Drop your email there. So when I export the email addresses to my new newsletter, I'll have yours already, and you'll get the very first one. All right. Take care.